I'm Jeff Cornwall, and this is the Entrepreneurial Mind. Today my guest is Colin Alcorn, who's part of our series of Belmont students who are starting businesses while they're in school. We'll be back to talk to Colin after this.
Talkapolis programming is sponsored in part by the Center for Advanced Dentistry, now serving the greater Nashville area.
Welcome, Colin.
Hello, thank you.
Appreciate you being here. So,
Absolutely.
You're one of several of our current students we've been bringing in, talking a little bit about being entrepreneurs in college.
Right.
Has that been kind of a weird experience for you? Have people kind of wondered why in the world you're starting a business in college, or has that become more and more common in your generation among kids?
You know, a little bit of both. I mean, you tell some people that you're an entrepreneur and whatnot, and they look at you like you're crazy, but then people that kind of understand...
That's because you actually might be a little bit to do it.
Yeah, might be.
It's not the most rational act in the world.
Yeah. But I mean, people that I've talked to typically, at least in Nashville, they are very supportive of it and they understand that pathway and everything. So it's been a good experience so far.
So talk a little bit about your business that you're trying to get started.
Okay, so my business is Catalogue, and it's a website or an online database and connector for music industry professionals. It focuses on providing valuable information for music industry professionals and getting them to connect, learn, and grow within their industry.
How did you figure out this idea? Where did this come from?
So my partner, his name's Paul Lindsay, he worked at the Listening Room for a little while, and he also worked at a bunch of publishing houses and things like that. And he would talk to songwriters all the time, and they would tell him, there's this girl that wants to write with me, or guy, and I just don't want to write with them. And he'd ask them, well, why not? And they'd be just like, I don't know them, and I don't know their music. And so that kind of sparked an idea to him. He came to me because I was the only person that knew music, technology, and a little bit of entrepreneurship. And we started developing an idea and discovered that a database would be valuable. But then as we started interviewing a lot of people, we found out that there was a lack of opportunity to connect and just manage your relationships and things like that.
So you changed the idea a little bit to adapt to that problem a little bit more?
Absolutely. First it was just a database for songwriters. Then after talking with you and other people for a while, it grew just this huge idea. And then we realized we needed to focus it a little bit again. So we finally found where we needed to be, and it was directly focusing on music industry professionals rather than fans and professionals and businesses and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. So what have you learned so far in this process? You know, it's one thing to learn in the classroom, but you know, sort of what's your life syllabus from all this experience you've had trying to get this thing going?
I would say one of the biggest things that I've had to learn is that you really, really need to listen to other people. You might think that you've got it all figured out, especially with your experiences and whatnot, but you need to listen to everything that everybody else is saying.
Is that hard for you?
It can be. Yeah.
Why do you think that? And that's not unusual. I mean, a lot of people, especially early in their career, will say, you know, it's kind of hard to admit that I might not know it all, or I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Is that part of it, do you think? It's just kind of admitting you don't know?
Yeah, I would say that is part of it. Definitely because, I mean, I'm young, and you got all these people that are in the industry or older, and they're telling you, you need to do this, and you're like, no, I don't want to, but...
But sometimes they're wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes, you know, sometimes some of the coolest innovations come from fresh set of eyes and sort of an uninhibited way of thinking. I mean, because old people get in routines, and that's one of the good things you have. So how do you balance that? How do you balance, you know, listening to that wisdom without letting it stifle some of your creative thought process? Have you started to figure that out a little bit?
Yeah, it's really just through continued discussion over and over again. You find out what things work. You find out things that make sense, little patterns and whatnot through what everybody else is saying. And then it's kind of a gut feeling at the same time based off of your experiences and whatnot.
Sometimes when I'm meeting with a student early on. As you know, I do a lot of informal teaching in my office, and I think some of the best lessons come out of there. But I almost sense that when I help them discover something that might not be right, that there's this reaction of, oh my God, I just failed this test. Do you think that's an accurate feeling that, from your own perspective, maybe that you get?
Yeah, I remember the first time that I came and met with you about my business.
It's probably mean or something.
You were
like
very
that.
mean, yes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, we just brought you the idea of the database, and it was just a very fresh new idea, and you tore it apart. I remember I'm really good with getting constructive feedback like that, and my partner was a little more like, oh, I need to be right, and we kind of just sat down and kept talking about it, and it helped us out a lot. We were able to figure out some
as
stuff
much
from
as
that.
I'd love to be your cheerleader, it doesn't help you at all.
Absolutely.
It doesn't, you need people to, just like you can be a fresh set of eyes to the industry, you also need that fresh set of eyes to make sure what you're doing is on track. Are you comfortable? Are you more comfortable with that kind of feedback now? Do you feel like you've kind of gotten to the point where it's a positive rather than negative?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've always been fairly open to it, but it's definitely been a growing experience and something that's fairly new to me as well.
What else have you learned? Have you had any oops moments where you did something that was probably something wasn't the right way, or you took a wrong turn and kind of recognized that? Have you had those kinds of moments?
Yeah, definitely during the time that our business, the idea was really big, we would go and present it to certain people, and it would be like our focus was music industry businesses, professionals, and fans. And we were like, this is such a good idea, and then we had so many people tell us that you can't focus on that many things at one time. Your business is going to fail very fast if you do that.
So just the need to focus and solve one problem.
Yeah, and we kept following down every rabbit hole, and it got a little bit too big. But I don't.
Rather than trying to cure world hunger, you just got to feed that one person, so to speak.
Very true.
Yeah.
I'm just ready to get out there and start testing our product on the market so that we can actually move from there and see how it goes.
So you're graduating pretty soon?
Yes, in May.
In May. And do you think the business is going to be ready to support you when you graduate?
I expect to have at least a part-time job for something that's in sales or something in business development or something like that, but as my partner will as well. But then I hope to at least maybe a year down the road after graduation, I will be doing that full time. So
build yourself a runway.
Yeah.
Get on your feet financially a little bit and use that time to continue to hone the idea down a bit.
Yeah, build up some money for a little bit of investment money in it as well. So
very cool. Well, we're proud of what you're doing and appreciate you coming in.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.